circumstances warrant.
Well, can you give us some indication of the process and the public involvement in this process? You mentioned that you're going to sit down and dialogue. Okay, well, when can the public then meet with you to find out the results of this dialogue? How is it going to fit into the schedule? You indicated the events is supposed to wrap up May 9th. This group isn't going to meet again until December, right? So I would feel more comfortable if I understood the process a little bit better.
Well, since we hadn't actually started a process, I can't tell you what the process is going to be beyond saying that I've seen this and Jim's seen this on the horizon as something we need to talk about. Your presence here today has kind of jacked up the recognition. Oh, okay, well, we better get going and set up a meeting. And like I just said, I think this might be a very good venue to continue.
What do you mean by this, though, Clay?
The Management Authority meeting.
Well,
in December?
The thing to realize, though, as we discuss this, is that our involvement is only going to be with potential access to the monument. We won't have any direct involvement with what the fence looks like, what the gate looks like, what the construction period will be. It will be, our involvement will really be post-construction. And once there's a gate and a fence, how will State Parks, who owns the land next to the fence, and the federal government that owns the land within the fence and the monument, how will we coordinate to open that gate? I think that's really what our involvement is going to be.
But you're involved in the state parks.
We are.
Yes, and there's the involvement of everybody else around this table that plays a role as well.
But I just want everyone to know that state parks will not have, we have no authority to dictate what the fence looks like, what the gate looks like, what any of that, how any of that will be constructed.
Proceedings.
The only thing that we will be able to affect with Border Patrol is when do we open the gate and how do we open the gate? Is it, for example, through a special event permit process? And does Border Patrol handle that, or does State Parks handle that? It's really that detail that we will engage with you in.
I think this may not be satisfying, but one thing to keep in mind is
Could
that...
you speak up, please?
Yes, sorry, is that just informationally speaking, the normal processes where in the National Environmental Policy Act or various other federal laws are followed through public disclosure, etc., have been set aside for this project. For instance, the Army Corps of Engineers did not finish their consultation. The Fish and Wildlife Service consultation under the Endangered Species Act did not take place. The people at this table don't get to say how this is going to work at this time because we don't know what we will be able to accomplish with each other working together into the future. So that's just the truth right now. We don't know.
Does anyone have a reason for the gate at Friendship Park? Are there apprehension statistics for that area and why there needs to be a fence and a pedestrian gate and that sort of double, triple fence at that spot, State Park?
Yes, there is.
That's our busiest zone right now. It's one of the busiest zones in San Diego County, and it's the busiest zone in the Imperial Beach Station. There's a tremendous amount of documentation about traffic going through there, but the reason for the fence goes back to the 1996 Immigration Reform and Immigrant Responsibility Act, which stated that there would be this type of fencing from the Pacific Ocean to Otay Mountain.
But that busy, as you described as busy, is happening now with the fence that's already there in place?
The primary fence there, and the way things are from a mile west of the ocean, we get boats. We've had 2 boats this week come up to the south end of the seacoast that came around the border. We had a guy in a jet ski Saturday morning come up to the south end of the seacoast. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but I can tell you that zone, that particular border zone, which goes about a mile east of the ocean, is our busiest border zone right now.
Within this sector?
Within the Imperial Beach area of responsibility, which goes to the OTI Port of Entry.
Are those apprehension statistics available somewhere?
The number I gave you, they should have.
Oh, the telephone number.
Yeah, the telephone number.
And we've been meeting with the state for a long time, and it's not that we just started meeting, and they've been, some of this information is sensitive, and they've been in some meetings where they've shown presentation on the activity at the park and other zones, zone 1 and 2. So,
I mean, obviously, a fence isn't going to help people coming by ocean.
Yeah, but that's not the only, I mean, they've had cars, pass through the fence up there. They're also in the business of controlling, drug smuggling, and they've had that up there at the park. So it is a hotbed. What I'd like to offer is that on our website, what we'd like to do is we're going to create an email address, because we're kind of we could serve as the mediator because we're staying in touch. We're the largest landowner right there next to this project. On our website, we'll put a specific email address that if there are questions, specific questions that you have about Borderfield State Park, including the fence, we'd be glad to field those through that email address, so that you can stay a little more up to date than quarterly like this, or even have, not saying we wouldn't have a special meeting, not saying we wouldn't bring it up at each of these meetings, but that might make it a little more timely.
And that way you all, as members of the public, would feel that you at least have an opportunity to communicate with us, and we do go to those Friday meetings with regards to what your concerns are.
And it's no secret that we've fought against this fenced corridor for some time, and in spite of that, you need to know that the two guys here have been great to work with. We have different missions. We have a different perspective on that fenced corridor, but they still have a really hard job to do, very different job from us. And so we work cooperatively with them, and they with us. And so I think we would be able to provide some good information because of the relationship that they've been willing to have with us, and vice versa.
One other thing that I think is important that you all realize is that there will be a time, and we're not exactly sure when in the construction window that will be, there will be a time when there won't be any access to Monument Mesa, because the road will have to be realigned. Because the fence will come across the top of our access road. And so that will be, that will be demolished at some point. The top
I can
of
probably
our
best
access
show
road.
that right here. You can see my fingers going along Monument Road, and then it turns toward Monument Mesa. Well, right now, the existing road does this. And so all of that has already been taken, actually, by the federal government. And so the whole parking lot is going to be shortened up top there. And so now this road is going to be realigned to here. And when that happens, there won't be any vehicular access to the top of Monument Mesa. There'll still be parking at the lower parking lot, but that's what Ronnie's talking about.
Would there be pedestrian access during that period of time? Or?
I don't know. I don't know, because I think there probably will be, because there is a trail that comes from the lower parking lot up to here. It really depends on what the footprint of construction is, and we're not sure.